What started as playtime outside for a homeschooled family has now escalated into a full-on legal battle between neighbors. Hello, everybody. I'm Heather Hayes.
And I'm Steve Eager. It's 9 o'clock. Fox 4's Ahead. Our is in Plano tonight with more on the stories ahead.
Well, Steve, during the week, several times a day, two homeschool kids in Plano go out to their backyard to let off some steam and to play. But when they do, their next-door neighbor claims they're excessively annoying, obnoxious, and loud. In between growing their minds.
I like playing in the playhouse and doing gymnastics tricks.
Homeschool kids 10-year-old Lily and 7-year-old Sophia like to stretch their legs. But lately, it's been a timeout from recess.
Because the neighbors keep playing loud music that upsets us.
The N-word, the P-word, the S-word.
For months now, Kelly Count says what seems like a spelling test is more like musical warfare.
It seems silly that our kids can't just play in their own backyard.
Count says the next-door neighbor went to the HOA in the city of Plano to get this playhouse and swing set moved away from the fence. And when both sided with the Counts, cell phone video shows the neighbors on Kite Meadow Drive started blaring loud, obscene rap music. Here's the PG-13 version.
I ain't gonna play with you P N-word, followed by loud gunshots.
Anything you want to say about how the kids... The loud rap music neighbor Anita Ward didn't talk to us and hasn't responded to the family's request to stop. So in October, they filed a civil lawsuit requesting that. And last month, the Wards filed their own civil suit against the Counts and the HOA, asking for the playhouse and swings to be moved and for damages.
It instills fear in a lot of parents.
What may seem like a small rift is huge for other homeschool families.
People are worried about what this does and what rights this takes away from people who want to homeschool their kids.
Where are you? I don't see you.
The way the Counts see it, it could set a precedent.
Your yard is supposed to be your safe place.
In future cases between a homeschool family and an overbearing neighbor.
Does the fact that somebody can hear a child playing mean that, you know, your children should be barred from playing outside? Kids are kids, and we want them outside.
Count says she's tried several times to reason with her neighbors. She says to even see if they could work towards some sort of compromise, but was told, "I'm sorry, that's not going to happen." Counts also points out that she hasn't received a noise complaint from anyone else. Steve?
All right, Zahid Arab in Plano, thank you very much.
Dave Gebhardt is a Bedford City Council member. We appreciate you being here tonight because you're also the father of 6. Yes. So you have a full house, and these are homeschooled children. So I'm interested in what's your reaction when you see this story?
This is really unfortunate. It seems like a escalation between neighbors that's gotten out of hand. Not so much to do with homeschooling. It just seemed like a convenient way to point fingers at the neighbor. So I would hope that the neighbors could get along better and especially not drag homeschooling into the mix because it has very little to do with actually what's going on.
Well, and that is, though, unfortunately, what's happening is homeschooled kids have kind of become the target in this, right. These two kids in particular. But you've got an organization that you and your wife started, Heart of Texas, and what you do is you help connect people. Have you had any situations like this before from other homeschoolers who've come to you or in your situation?
Actually, no. This is a first.
It's kind of a first.
It's a first. I've never heard of families pointing to children at play and complaining that it's obnoxious and rude. I would think these day and age we would want to get kids outside more and hear that laughter going on.
I would think so. I mean, it's just. It's funny, as you're talking, as I'm watching the story, I'm shaking my head, and I have to believe that that's what a lot of people at home are doing. They're shaking their heads going, really? Yeah. You can't figure this out?
Yeah, it's pretty baffling. Homeschoolers are well integrated into the community. You know, we take our kids out, they school at home. Sure, we can go to the park. We have that freedom to do that as homeschoolers.
Because in the state of Texas, you can do that.
Absolutely.
Right.
Homeschools in Texas are private schools, and so we set the rules, we set the curriculum, and it would be a shame for them to be driven out of their own home and their own yard just to deal with a neighbor that's unhappy.
So let me ask you, is this a precedent-setting case at all? I mean, we hear this mom say that she's fearful, you know, we're talking about homeschoolers being dragged into this mess that maybe even doesn't have anything to do with homeschooling itself. So what is this going to do then moving forward for other homeschoolers?
Well, that's a good question. Homeschoolers are naturally vigilant about their rights. Their rights were hard fought in the Texas courts, and so we do tend to pay attention and keep alert when things happen that might infringe on those rights. Frankly, I don't see that there's much of a case against homeschooling, particularly here. I would be very surprised to see that it would go much further than this back and forth. So, but rest assured that you know, homeschoolers pay attention. We're integrated in the community. We want to make sure that we maintain our rights. But you know, homeschoolers are generally very good neighbors. Yeah, we tend to have large families, and they make a little noise.
Giggling outside is just awful.
But they're great kids. You know, they volunteer in their communities, and they're very well socialized.
When you talk about socialization and volunteering, I know one of the things that Heart of Texas does is build relationships with the families, with businesses, with communities. And that's going to be kind of frustrating and hard when situations like this happen. Or does it just give you a platform to stand on and say, hey, listen to us, we've got great things going on?
I look at this as an opportunity.
Okay.
You know, I try to be positive about this kind of thing. I speak to various organizations, Plainer Leadership, Colleyville Leadership, to let people know about homeschooling and demystify it, let them know it's a viable education option for families in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. And you know, we're here, and we're not too mysterious or too weird. We just chosen this particular method to teach and train our children.
And let me ask you quickly, what would you say to those neighbors if the music neighbors are watching? What would you...
That's a good question. I would encourage them, please be reasonable. Work with your neighbors.
Sounds like a good plan. All right, Dave, we appreciate you coming in. Thank you. And it's heartoftexas.org. We're going to get a link on our website.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.